2 Peter 3 now. Verse 11, it says, since everything around us is going to be destroyed like this, what holy and godly lives should you live? Yeah, this is the same verse. I like the way it reads out of the NIV. What was that, verse 11?
Yeah, verse 11.
Since everything will be destroyed in this way, what kind of people ought you to be?
Right.
So this is
And
the
I think
question.
this is the question I think for tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the core question.
So remember to keep a view of that.
All right.
That we believe that Jesus Christ died for our sins.
Yeah.
And if we've taken advantage of that, we have an assurance that he's coming back to get us.
All right.
And so if that's going to happen,
Right.
And I don't know, sometimes you say, well, let's make a hypothetical.
Yeah,
maybe hypotheticals are
Yeah, that's what I was
ridiculous.
moving
Sometimes it helps us to think,
Mm-hmm.
what would happen if we had a 2-hour warning that Christ was coming back? Now, I know we don't.
Yeah.
We've got a warning that it may be immediately.
Yeah.
It may be another 10,000 years. I don't know.
Right.
But we don't know. But if somebody told us we had 2 hours before Christ came back, what would we do? Think about, wasn't it in the 5th chapter of Matthew,
Yeah.
where there was a person that was making a sacrifice, worshiping God. We have Matthew 5:23 and 24.
Yeah, I got it. It says, so if you were standing before the altar in the temple offering a sacrifice to God and suddenly remember that a friend has something against you.
Now, why would you suddenly remember? Because you think you got 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's right. Leave your sacrifice there beside the altar. Go and apologize and be reconciled to him, and then come and offer your sacrifice to God.
I think you can also go back to that passage I read in Romans 12 because you're talking about the worship. You're talking to a person going into under the Jewish law, going to the temple to worship, and he's just remembered, hey, I messed up.
That's right.
Yeah. So the fact of the matter is that we mess up sometimes.
Yeah.
We hurt each other.
Yeah.
We say hurtful things. Maybe we do hurtful things.
Well, you get locked in.
Yeah.
That's a part of human. Somebody hits, you hit back, and the next thing you know, I mean, not physically, I'm just talking about,
Right.
But if you lived every minute of your life like you thought Christ was coming back,
you wouldn't do that somewhere.
what you would do when you mess up, because we are going to mess up,
Right.
you would apologize.
Yeah.
You would make it right.
Wouldn't this would be a remedy to a lot of this division that I'm seeing right
there
now.
is no doubt. And that goes back to what I was saying about using,
That's
Facebook for good. I think I think people, we need more love. I think,
we wouldn't be going around, how am I going to get back at somebody?
Right.
We'd be saying, how can I
reconcile?
Reconcile.
That's right.
Reconcile
these relationships.
Yeah.
And another thing that you might think about, if you, I don't know, if you can say 2 hours or tomorrow, if you knew that the time was short, you'd probably think about the things that you were watching on TV.
Right.
You might think about the books you've been reading.
Yeah.
You might think about a lot of things like that. As a matter of
Might
fact,
want to think about purging that stuff out of your life.
But there's no doubt.
There's a passage that kindly
Mm-hmm.
goes into that in Acts 19th chapter.
Yeah.
These people were converted to Christianity.
Yeah.
And they had some of that stuff in their life. A lot of it was about, it calls it books of magic and demons, doesn't it? Read that in verse 19, Acts 19:19.
Says many of the believers who've been practicing black magic confessed their deeds and brought their
incantation.
Incantation,
Yeah, I know that
that's a
passage
big
there.
word.
Yeah.
And charms and burned them at the public bonfire. So in other words, they brought all this
Yeah.
junk.
Got the garbage out of their life.
Yeah, got it out.
Yeah.
Well, if you had 2 hours, I don't know if you'd be on Facebook wasting that 2 hours ranting about whatever's on your mind there.
You might want to be getting that stuff in the garbage can, though.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, we got a mandate to spread the gospel. We talked about last week the gospel message, the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. We got a direct mandate from Jesus to get out and spread this message, this good news.
Yeah.
That's what the gospel means. Maybe we should do it with a little bit more urgency.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you had that 2 hour warning, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Then wouldn't you say, well, let's get after it? We got 2 hours.
And we understand that, the gospel message has to be accepted. It's free will, that we take that. But you're right, Cole. I think that's a very good point.
Don't we have a song, I believe I've heard you lead this before, that has something in the lyrics that says, you never told me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah.
I know that one you're talking about. Yeah.
I said it, basically.
It was somebody that was upset because they'd never been told the gospel.
You never told me about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. You have to
I'd
look that up.
have to look it up.
But that always strikes me, it's like Wouldn't that be awful to stand in the judgment day and say, I had the opportunity to share the message of salvation with somebody, and
I never did.
Let it slip away.
Let it slip away.
I thought about too that little story Jesus told, a parable, or I don't know. We go back and forth whether it was a real story or just a parable, a story, or he talked about the rich man
And Lazarus.
Lazarus.
Yeah.
And the rich man died and he ended up in hell.
Yeah.
What was his primary concern?
Telling his brothers.
He wanted to go back.
He said, "Can I go back and just warn my family about this?" That'd be awful, but
the fact was, it was too late.
That's right.
Yeah.
But for us as Christians, I mean, we need to get on it. I mean, this is urgent. It's an urgent matter.
Yeah.
Maybe we only got 2 hours. I don't know. Who knows? But either way, it's urgent.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking earlier. I don't know if you necessarily should live your life like you got 2 hours left, but for a thought exercise, that's a good.
Yeah.
Well, there were some people in the early church, that
they got a little carried away.
They did get a little carried away.
They didn't show up for work, and
Yeah.
they didn't have any concern for anything.
Because they thought Christ would be back the next day or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Which he could have,
But the fact is, and the overarching point is we got, if we have this information now, this biblical worldview, that all this earth, the earth is not going to last forever. I mean, our life's not going to last forever. We know that. We all know. Intellectually, we know we're not going to last forever as far as this current body. So the point is, what do we do with that? Well, we need to be living for God. That's the point. That's what
right.
2
Peter 3:14 told
Yeah,
us.
that's right. Yeah.
To be
In
living,
view of that, yeah.
Since we know that now, we should be living godly lives. I had a quote. I think it'd be a good one to wrap things up on. This came from Patricia Heaton. She's an actress out there in Hollywood. So that ought to be interesting. But no, this is a good quote, actually.
I thought you said nothing good.
I didn't say that. Did I say that? I said that before I read this.
Yeah.
She had a tweet, and I'll put a screenshot of it up. It says, if you're a common sense person, you probably don't feel like you have a home in this world right now.
And I heard my wife read that to me the other night.
If you're a Christian, you know you were never meant to.
Yeah, that I didn't hear. Yeah, that's it. That's great. Yeah. That's really good.
Thank you for watching these clips from our latest episode of The Essential Truth. If you want to watch the full episode, just click the link in the description. It'll take you to our YouTube page. If you like our podcast, be sure to click the subscribe button and also click the bell. That way you get notified every time we put out a new episode. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you soon on The Essential Truth.